What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to select my top 5 cartridges of all time. I think a couple of them are going to surprise you, so stand by. Now, it's no secret some of these new age cartridges have been around for not very long. Some of the preceding cartridges, hell, a lot more history, like the 30-30, the 308, aka the back 40 rifle.
What'd you just say to me?
30-06 and the 270. I get people arguing in the comments all the time about some of these, especially the 270. In this video, I'm going to cover the pros and the cons of each of my top 5 calibers, starting with number 5. The 300 Norma has been wildcatted since 2012, although it wasn't officially approved by SAMI until 2021. SAMI approved this for 61,000 PSI, although it has a max capacity of 65,000 PSI. That approval came at a velocity of 2890 with a 230 grain bullet. Okay, that just screams big game killing capability, right? So some of the pros: extremely high BC bullet, one of the highest I've ever seen. Check out this 225 grain ELDM from Hornady. Number 2, long bolt tail bullets for bucking wind. It has a lot of grains. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of killing power. This thing hits hard, it's super accurate, and it's good in the wind based on the bullet. Now, some of maybe, should I say, qualms or cons about the 300 Norma. Number 1, because there's so much capacity here, this has 104 grains plus of water capacity. You know, with loading 91 grains of powder, there's some shifting on the uphill and the downhill, which created some inconsistencies in velocities, thus having a trickle effect to inaccuracies. Strike 1. Strike number 2, it's kind of expensive. At $114 a box, it's not that economical. In addition to that, that pencils out to $5.70 a round. I mean, that's pretty hard seeing $5 go out the end of the barrel every single shot. Additionally, factory ammo options are super limited. But you say, you know what, this is a reloader's paradise, right? Well, yes and no. It's still going to cost a fair amount to load something like this up yourself. But if you like power, you like speed, you get it all with the 300 Norma. I've taken a lot of things. I took my moose, elk, deer. It hits hard, it kills fast, it's very ethical. I dare say the animals don't feel it coming. Does that destroy meat? Because that's what's really important here. Is that destroying the meat? Depends on where you hit them. Stay away from the shoulders and all the meat, hit them in the vitals. It's good for antelope. You might think, but gosh, geez, isn't it overkill for antelope? Well, not if you hit them behind the shoulder. You're not going to see any lost meat. Case in point, this antelope I took with my daughter.
Smoked him.
That's our first one together. It was a perfect shot, 450 yards. There wasn't a single ounce of meat lost, and you would think that would have been smithereens, but not the case. The 300 Norma comes in at number 5 with me. You can get some factory options. Burger has some stuff available. Hornady doesn't produce it anymore just due to those inconsistencies in the speeds and velocities. Inconsistencies in velocity has a trickle effect to inconsistencies in accuracy. So they decided not worth our time. We'll focus our attention elsewhere. If you're looking to get factory ammo options, it's definitely one of the cons. It's expensive. There is the chance of inaccuracies, but reloader's paradise if you're going to reload this yourself. 300 Norma, number 5. The 300 Wisdom should be synonymous with the word efficiency, because that's what this is. It's efficient. Think about it like this. The 300 Wisdom achieves what the 300 Win does with 8 to 10% less powder. That's a big deal. That's more efficient. It's cheaper. I loved my 300 Wisdom. I took my Ibex in Kyrgyzstan at 450 yards with the Wisdom. Yes! I took one of my largest mule deers to date with the 300 Wisdom at 850 yards.
Got him.
And then you get, a 30 cal with all the same efficiency as a 300 Win with a short action bolt throw. Quicker follow-up shots and quicker reload time. Okay, so here's the principle of the 300 Wisdom in short. The principle at work is a short action Magnum cartridge fitting large volumes of powder in close proximity with the primer's flash hole, resulting in more uniform ignition, thereby generating essentially the same ballistic performance as long action Magnums with less powder and less recoil, hence the 8 to 10%. Now, the 300 Wisdom has a max capacity 80 grains. So for the uphill and the downhill, there's less powder moving around because there's not as much space for that powder to move around. That doesn't come without a few cons. Some of the cons include a delta L problem, which I wasn't really familiar with what the delta L problem is. But the delta L problem is essentially meaning it can have unexpected chambering or feeding problems. Something I never experienced and something I've never heard of. So whether that's a concern of yours or not, I don't know. It's something to keep in mind for sure. 10 twist, 63,817 max PSI, and a 200 grain bullet is going 22 feet per second out of the muzzle and has 3,538 feet-pounds of energy. So for reference here, we're just going to compare the 300 Win Mag. The Wisdom is 2822 velocity. The Win Mag is 2850. It's nearly identical. Less recoil, almost just as much energy, high BC bullet. The 300 Wisdom is a legit contender. Now, one of the other cons may be bullet availability, or a sporting goods store and BFE, you might have a bit of a problem finding it. But, should that be a legitimate concern? That's up to you. Almost forgot to mention the price on the 300 Wisdom. The Wisdom comes at it $59.99 a box, which is just about $3 per round. I would say that's pretty reasonable. Let's be honest, the 6.5 PRC is the perfect balance of speed, accuracy, and manageable recoil, all in a short action receiver. I mean, how can you beat that? I've taken one of my biggest public land bulls with the 6.5 PRC. It's just a really fun gun to shoot. It shoots well, it's accurate, it's manageable recoil. You could pass it along to one of your kids, your wife. It's just something that's super universal. And a lot of guys, the haters, the old timers, like to say that it's not much better than the 270. And while it has comparable ballistics, I would say it's a modern day cartridge. Everything's gonna be better. It's gonna do better in the wind. It's got longer boat tail bullets and boasts higher BCs, and BC being how efficient it flies through the air. The 6.5 PRC is so hard to beat. If someone came to me and said that the 6.5 PRC has to be like the only gun that you're going to shoot the rest of your life, I'd be okay with that. And you could take anything practically in North America with it. I think one of the strongest arguments the 6.5 PRC has is its versatility. You can do anything from small game coyotes, antelope, all the way up to large game elk and bigger. It just does it all, and it does it really well. I would say the price is pretty good on the 6.5 PRC. I think you could go anywhere in North America and find ammo for the 6.5 PRC, whether it's Hornady, Hornady Precision, or Hornady Match, or whatever else you're shooting. You're going to find that in just about every sporting goods store. So that's definitely a big plus. At $51.99 a box, obviously there's fluctuation there depending on political climate and things like that. At $2.60 a round, it's a lot better than the 300 Norma, I'll tell you that. And it gets the job done. It kills. Great for long range hunting, shooting. 6.5 PRC flat out gets it done. Going 2,900 feet per second out of the muzzle. Hard to beat that. I'm going to pull some more ballistics here. Muzzle energy at 2782 foot-pounds. 100-yard velocity is 2808. At 300 yards, there's only 6 inches of drop with a 143 grain bullet with a 6.5 PRC. It's just flat shooting, carries its energy really far, and does really well in the wind. At 500 yards, you're only seeing 36 inches of drop, while still boasting 1,600 foot-pounds plus of energy. So plenty of energy to kill an elk at 6, 7, 800 yards. The 6.5 PRC, it flat out gets it done. Designed for the long-range shooter/hunter with high precision shooting in mind, it's flat, high velocities, especially for a 30 cal, and it's inherently accurate. Now, a lot of people say it's not that much better than the 300 Win Mag. To that I say, let's compare apples to apples. If we're taking factory ammo options to factory ammo options, the 300 PRC beats the 300 Win Mag. You get rid of the belt with the 300 PRC, you've got better case fill, you've got slightly bigger bullet in most cases, and that's if you're just going factory to factory. The 300 Win Mag's been awesome for a long time. The 300 PRC just solves all those little things that the 300 Win Mag had wrong with it. 300 PRC is essentially a 375 neck down to a 30 cal. It's optimal for heavy bullets. And here's the other thing. It has less recoil than most your Magnum cartridges. I've taken a lot of big game animals across North America with it. There's that black bear at 1,008 yards.
Drilled him.
There's that black bear at 20 yards. There's countless other critters that I've been fortunate enough to hunt with it. It's awesome. It's manageable recoil. It's factory ammo that you can find on the shelves. In fact, anywhere in North America. You know, ammo's $56.99 a box. That's about $2.85 a round. You know, really affordable considering today's modern world. I was having a hard time figuring out a con. Like, if I had to really try to find something wrong with the cartridges originally developed for SOCOM and snipers, I would say it's a long action. Sometimes things are just better and it's funner and you can reload quicker and there's shorter bolt throw with the short action. I would say that's the main thing wrong with the 300 PRC. You're still going to get decent barrel life. You're still going to be insanely accurate, high BC bullets, long boat tail bullets, little drift, lots of energy. The 300 PRC, it's just hard to beat, and you can hunt anything with it. Like virtually anything in North America, you can shoot with a 300 PRC. In fact, I'd put my wife behind my 300 PRC. It just does well with recoil, and if you get the right build weight behind it, it's pretty awesome. Like, it's hard to beat. Just to rattle off some ballistics here, with a 212 grain Hornady ELDX, you're going to be at 2860 at the muzzle, and that's again with the 24-inch test barrel. That's 3850 foot-pounds of energy. That's an insane amount of energy. Now, you talk to some of these Alaskan outfitters, and they say that there's just something about a bigger diameter bullet with that energy that just kills. And I do not doubt that. I do not discount that. That is 100% the case, especially with bears, grizzly bears. You know, a lot of the outfitters don't show up unless you got a 30 cal. These 30 cals just hit hard and transfer the energy, and that's one thing about the 300 PRC is it just continues to transfer that energy. And it's got a lot of case fill, meaning on those uphill and those downhill, there's not your powder kind of shifting around, shifting back towards a bullet or back in. You're getting consistent speeds, consistent velocities, which is going to translate to more and greater accuracy downrange. The 300 PRC is just flat out hard to beat. Just to rattle off here, 500 yards, you're still getting 2,200 feet of velocity, 2,212 actually, 2,304 foot-pounds of energy, in only 38 inches of drop. Let's compare a hot rod of 300 PRC to a hot rod of 300 Win Mag. You can achieve some of the things the 300 PRC does with a hot rodded 300 Win Mag, but just imagine if you hot rodded a 300 PRC, I would say. Just imagine what kind of beast you could create. But for reloaders, for factory shooters alike, the 300 PRC is just amazing. Kills, it shoots, it's accurate, it's very shootable, it's affordable, ammo's available. I don't know that you can convince me that there's something better than the 300 PRC. And it's hard to do that, especially in terms of 30 cal. Before we get to number one, we're going to talk about the honorable mention. The only reason this guy didn't make it into the top 5 is because it isn't big game legal in all 50 states. Had it been big game legal in all 50 states, it would absolutely fit somewhere into my top 5. And that is the 22 Creedmoor. The 22 Creedmoor is unbelievable. Yeah, it's a small bullet, but it's got blistering speeds, and there's that old adage that speed kills, and such is the case with the 22 Creedmoor. I took a plethora of animals last year at various ranges, including black bear, mule deer. So it was created by necking down a 6.5 Creedmoor to a 224 diameter, resulting in a cartridge that offers exceptional long-range capabilities. Now, a lot of people think that it isn't capable to kill a big game animal past 500 yards. I beg to differ. Now, I'm not saying that everyone should go out and build or buy a 22 Creedmoor for big game hunting. I'm not saying that. Not everyone is capable of delivering pinpoint accuracy, but shot placement always is number one. Speed kills. The 22 Creedmoor, depending on barrel length, it has blistering speeds of 3,300 feet per second up to 3,600 feet per second. It now is available in Hornady ELDX and also ELDM. I would think that you'd be able to pick that up on the shelves, and it's gaining a lot of popularity. Why? Because it's fast, it kills, and it's extremely shootable. There's little to absolutely no recoil. And it's fun. I was talking to my buddy Travis Stevens the other day. He mentioned to me a long, long time ago when this sucker was still a Wildcat how much he enjoyed it. I think there's just so much to like about it. You can take a kid, a lady, you can put a person of all experience types behind the 22 Creedmoor and not scare them away from the sport of shooting, much less hunting. It's a fantastic round. Now, Ammo, fairly inexpensive, pretty reasonable. You're looking at $39.99 for a box of 20. That's about $1.99 per round. So extremely affordable, fun to shoot. It's a good way to hone on skills and practice form and technique. All right, let's move on to number 1. Released by Hornady in 2022, it was designed as a long-range precision hunting target cartridge optimized for high BC, long boat tail bullets, and modern rifles with faster twist rates. Now, the parent case is a 300 PRC, which was also a 375 Ruger, neck down to a 30 cal. So it's off the same case as a 300 PRC. Now, the ballistics from 175 grain ELDX, which is a phenomenal long range and even close range hunting bullet. It's what we've used. We have a lot of kill shots with the ELDX. Muzzle velocity of 3,000 feet per second. High BC of 0.689 G1. Energy of 3,500 foot-pounds at the muzzle. And effective ranges 800 yards plus. I would be much more confident going past 800 absolutely with the 7 PRC on large game. Now, I know what you're thinking. My 7mm does this, that, and the other. Okay, let's compare apples to apples, though. Apples to apples. Okay, here we go. 7 PRC versus 7 Rem Mag. Introduced in 2022 and 1962. What's the difference in how much has technology advanced in 60 years? Just answer that question real quick. Non-belted for the 7 PRC. 7 Mag is a belted Magnum, okay? Max pressure is 65,000 PSI and then 61,000 PSI on the 7 Mag. 1.8 twist, 1.9 twist on the 7 Rem Mag. So the 8 twist is going to get that bullet spinning faster, right? 160 to 195 grains. The 7 Mag, 120 to 175. So I shot some A-tips one time out of my a 7 WSM one time, and wow. I'm just saying, to have the ability to shoot bigger bullets, 7 PRC. Now, but we're comparing apples to apples here. Factory ammo, factory ammo. Longer efficient seating without ending case capacity. Shorter due to older design. We all know the pros and cons of that. 3,000 feet per second, 2,850 to 2,900 feet per second. So you're automatically getting more velocity. As we know, speed kills. Recoil, comparable, different on the rifle weight. You can never compare apples to apples unless you have the same barrel and same weight. You can't really compare recoil, okay? So that's why I don't really compare recoil a lot in the videos, other than saying it's manageable recoil or, there's a lot of recoil. The recoil is comparable in the 7 Rem Mag too. So competitive advantages of the 7 PRC though. Ding, ding, ding. Let's get in the ring here and battle these out. Better BC bullets at full case capacity. So full case capacity meaning there's more powder in the case. So for those uphill shots and those downhill shots, you're not getting inconsistencies in the velocity. Inconsistencies in the velocity, not to beat a dead horse here, but corresponds to inaccuracies downrange. So a full case is what you're keyed on. And that's what these PRCs do. They offer full cases. There's less powder shifting around on your uphill and your downhill stuff. More efficient powder burn, which results into more consistent velocities. Modern chamber geometry and faster twist rates built for the long-range shooter and hunter. Higher pressure ceiling offered more velocity headroom. More pressure means more velocity. That's just the way it is. Listen, I'm not hating on the 7 Rem Mag. I have one of my longest kill shots to date. It was on an elk. I've actually never shown this. Should I show this? I shot an elk at 1595. I can either put this in or not put it in. But I believe in the 7 Rem Mag. That's the point. I've taken a lot of game with the 7 Rem Mag. It's fantastic. You can hot rod it, and then you can get it up to those 7 PRC speeds and velocities. But. Imagine if you hot rodded the 7 PRC. You don't need to. The factory ammo is so amazing. I guess if you have the time, do it. Real world application. Here's the reality. Flatter trajectory, higher retained velocity and energy at range, more effective wind bucking performance at longer ethical ranges. There you have it. 7 PRC is my number one cartridge of all time. I don't see it changing anytime soon. I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to other things. I've shot other calipers. So if you think I'm just off my rocker here, if you think that I should have considered something else, maybe I should have, leave it in the comments. But as always, subscribe to the Muley Freak channel. Leave us a comment, like this video, share it with your friends. Let the debates begin.
Hey, back to business. Stop talking to the kid like I'm acting different. Ain't nobody seen nothing. You can ask the witness. Rags to riches, young star asterisk.
Hey, back to business. Stop talking to the kid like I'm acting different. Ain't nobody seen nothing. You can ask the witness. Rags to riches, young star asterisk.
Black, white, panda, pandemonium.